Hey, we are live. I can catch the smell, but you can't tell. Yeah. It's a special groove with fire inside of you. Anytime you feel danger or fear, it's in me. I will be there. It's all in me. Anything you want done, baby, I'll do it naturally. Whoa, whoa, yes. That's what I'm talking.
Yes, 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 yes.
And you are tuned into When Women Step Up, where we highlight, yes, 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 all of the wonderful change agents that are in your community. And today, the community that we happen to be going to, she hails out of Pennsylvania. We have IAmKim PossABLE.
Yes.
Yes, you know I like that. That's my kind of carrying on. Not just about my name.
Yes, yes, Dr. Kimberly, because we are able.
And y'all know I be tooting my own horn in my chair.
That's right. Get out the way.
Say boom, boom, get out the way. Get out the way. Because we are coming through. I am so honored to have this TV One influencer, social media mom girl. She's a Kim. So I mean, what can I say?
Right.
She's not just a Kim. That shortens it. She's a Kimberly.
Kimberly, that's right. That Kimberly.
Y'all know this Kimberly, with the DR on the front of it. So you can only imagine all the things that this Kimberly is doing. But we got about, I don't know, as long as she has time for it, to tell us everything that she's doing.
Oh, wow. You might have to extend the show, Dr. Kimberly.
I think it says right there that it belongs to me somewhere all over this. Okay.
You would have to extend the show.
Well, you're talking to the owner, the producer, the founder, the CEO, the cook, chief bottle washer, and
I am every woman. That's right. And in reality, what people need to know, that's what it is. When the grind is real, your hustle is real, the dream is real, but you have to work. And with that being said, you do work. You do work for it. And sometimes you are everything. You're the secretary, you are everything. And even when you and that's what, no matter what level you're on. So what people need to understand, right, Dr. Kimberly, like no matter what level you reach,
absolutely.
When I first started out my grind, I was just like, oh my God, I can't wait till one day when I can afford to hire people and I can have people doing this and doing that for me. Let me tell you, you are the person.
You still do it.
You still do it. And even if you do have people, when you reach that level that you have people working for you, trust me, you're going to be working harder than they do. So you're still, and because what that means is when you get to that level where you can actually have a team and have people working for you, that means you have even more going on. You have more responsibility. You have more on your shoulders that you're doing. So actually you're just working harder.
Yeah, I definitely would have to agree, because even I think about my political campaign last year. I had folks, had a manager, and yet I still was like, doing the work.
You're probably working harder. You were probably working harder than your manager.
I just would apologize to her profusely. She just got real frustrated with me because I like things a certain way.
Absolutely.
And that's the most difficult part, is when you've been doing all of it for so long and it's worked for you and you know how to get into those your own niche, if you will.
You know what you want. It's like when you have a vision, nobody knows what that vision is. And sometimes, especially in the beginning, it's when you're still figuring out and you're still walking in it and you're still putting it together as you're going along. It's kind of hard to explain, take what's in your head and that idea and the vision that God gave you. It's kind of hard to take that and articulate it and and put it on paper or explain to somebody, this is what I need to happen, this is the vision. And so yes, I've gone through that same thing where you will have people frustrated that are there to help you, but nonetheless that will become frustrated because you can't particularly articulate or translate that vision clearly to what that into somebody saying, well, I need you to do this, or this is what that looks like. And like I said, because you're still walking in it and you're still figuring out. And yeah,
So
I've gone through that.
say,
I'm still going through that, but I've learned how to delegate and how to turn over, the serenity prayer. It's like, God give me the, serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the wisdom to change the things I can, and the understanding, know the difference. It's like, you have to, you know, learn to let go of the control and trust people that are there to, so that's why you make sure you have the right people that know what they're doing and trust them to do what they do. But also there's still a level where people don't understand of your vision as you're still walking it out that only you and God know. You know what I mean? It's
absolutely.
here,
Well, we
it's
want to
here,
say,
and it's here. It's in your heart and it's in your head. And that part is something that you have to walk through. That's your journey. But then learning how to delegate or let go and trust other people with the other things, because there are a lot of things that you can throw over the fence to all the people that are around that want to help you. And I've learned how to let go of all of those little things so that I can be free to put my time and my energy and my creativity into the bigger thing, into the bigger vision.
okay. So we want to say hey to our common queen, that is Heidi Zeller, all the way from Muskegon, Michigan. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Heidi, hey Heidi.
And we've got Shayna, who's checking in from Bel Air, Maryland. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, Shayna, what's up, Shayna?
So we want to give Shayna a plug right now. I love shameless plugs. So if you're looking for that perfect Mother's Day gift, please look her up, Shayna Thomas. You can see her right there, SHANA THOMAS, and order some of that spark your body scrub. I'm telling you, see my skin, no makeup, y'all, no makeup, no makeup,
Oh,
just
wow.
makeup, no makeup. Look at my skin.
Yes, yes. It's
It's
so
because
nice to not have to always have makeup on your skin.
I don't wear makeup, but my skin stays wonderful, healthy, like this because I do use her scrub. So anybody who mentions my name or mentions the show gets 10% off a 32-ounce container.
Oh,
Trust
wow.
me,
Okay.
you're gonna want the 32 ounces because once you put in and you start scrubbing your body down and you
Getting
start
all that dead skin off and skin
and
feeling all smooth.
and hers, unlike other scrubs that I've used in the past, hers has oil in it. So as you're scrubbing, you're
Mm.
putting in the oil.
Moisturize, still moisturizing.
Oh my gosh. So that once you rinse off, your body is just glistening. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
just,
because a lot of times when you do a scrub and then you're ashy, you rinse off, you go outside, you're ashy. So that is nice. That's it. Yes, yeah, that's a good point. That's nice that
so
you're
I'm
putting the
telling
moisture back in.
you, and it does have real rose petals in it. So, I feel like I'm coming to America when I see all the roses.
Ah,
I'm just,
Kimberly, you are such a beautiful diva. You always, when you come through, you always look like you coming to America because you are a queen. Every time I see you, it's like royalty coming through. I mean that.
I just was like, oh, I got on one of my things I designed and I said, I haven't worn this. I'm thinking about a year and some. I said, I'm about to, get the people a little something, something. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the gloss on my lips today, that's called Spark a Kiss. That's also by Shayna.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
So, and oh yeah, I think these earrings, they might have had some little dangly stuff on them that she made for me, but I took the little dangly stuff off. And so now we just got the straight earring. So I'm plugging Shayna Thomas today. I love her
Absolutely. It's
dearly.
beautiful.
She is in Bel Air, Maryland. And just a little bit of history about her. She has two children. They are, I want to say 15 and 17. She's a single parent and she's been in a wheelchair since she had her last baby, which is like 15. She has this rare muscle disease that has caused her to be a wheelchair user for the last, I want to say, almost 15 years. And so she does all of this from her wheelchair. Yeah.
Wow.
Now figure that one out.
Wow. And wait a minute. And there's people that's not even in a wheelchair that's walking around on two legs and can't manage to get anything done and aren't doing anything.
One
So
more thing that she does. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. Y'all ready for this one? Beep, 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 beep. She makes these wonderful. Look at the bear.
oh wow. Oh my gosh. And I love the colors.
Isn't that beautiful, friends and neighbors?
That is beautiful.
And it comes with a little blanket.
Oh wow. That's beautiful. Oh, that color is gorgeous.
And she sits and she crochets those. That one's for a girl, and this one's for a boy.
Oh wow. The colors are so vibrant.
But his little blanket with him too.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome.
So I just want you guys to know that, you know what, diversibility makes economic sense. So if you're thinking about hiring somebody, the next time you see somebody that's in a wheelchair or has a disability, I'm showing you what we can do. Okay, I'm showing you what we can do. Who are all these people that are trying to come on? You gave the link to other people?
Yes.
Oh, it's just you and I on the show.
I didn't know.
they can watch it.
It's okay. I didn't know. I sent the link out and I posted it, so I didn't know that people could not come in. They'll watch it later. That's all right. I'll make sure that they follow up and watch it later.
Okay. You are so welcome, Shayna. I mean, I'm excited about the things that I've gotten. I need to really show you how to do. I'll post a picture of the one that she made for my grandson. So I have a new baby grandson, and
oh, congratulations!
Whoop, whoop, whoop. He makes number 8. So
what?
Girl, I know, right?
No way.
Yes, and I'm almost 60. So
what?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yep. Well, you sure don't look it. Well, you know what they say.
Good black.
You know what? That's right. That's right. And you are looking fabulous. I would have never expected. So your skin is beautiful. You're beautiful. You're so full of energy.
Thank you. So, you know what I'm excited about? I thought about some things today because she's coming to Muskegon, you guys. I live about 45 minutes away where she's going to be. But guess what? I was the first person to get my ticket because I'm
right.
in supporting other folks, especially women. I am on a mission to dispel this thing that we can't get along and we all catty.
Or that we don't want to support each other's missions.
Or that we're crabs in a bucket. No, we're not. And so I use all of my platforms to be able to uplift any and everybody who's doing something and making a change. And I appreciate that. But she's got a new book coming out and she's doing a tour and she's starting in Muskegon and it's called Mama, I Was Listening. And I had to stop and think about what was the first thing that my mother ever said to me that I did listen to very early on. And it was, Kim, have a love affair with you. That was
wow.
The first piece of advice that she told me was to always love myself.
That was so powerful.
And have a love affair.
I wish somebody would have told me that early on.
And so I want to say I was about 11 or 12 when she said that to me. And it's always stuck with me. And lately, for about 6 weeks now, I have been sending myself some very expensive flowers. I spent about $100 on these big, beautiful bouquets, and I have them delivered to myself. And
I love that.
And I also um, write a card out. I put a card in it, and it'll say, Kimberly, I love you. I just want you to know I'm proud of you. I love what you're doing. Keep your eye on the Lord and continue to do good works. And then I sign it, Dr. Kimberly.
Wow.
You know,
That's inspiring. I might have to borrow that from your mother. I wish someone would have told me that when I was younger. I had to learn it. I am in a love affair with myself now, but it took me a long time to get here. So
oh
that's
yeah,
very, very, very powerful.
I think that I love it because even I want to say even before the age of I would say about 35, I did not come into each decade less. I came into each decade doing something different on a level that worked for me in order to make sure that I loved myself.
Absolutely.
It
Yes.
started out with little things like, oh, a pedicure or a manicure. Maybe I couldn't get them both done. So it's like, okay, I get a pedicure this time and next time I'll get a manicure. And then it just escalated from there. And now, to be able to afford $100 every other week, for that first month, I did it once a
That's
week.
right. And the
You
prices
know,
went up. Yes.
so for 4 weeks spending, over $500, because by the time you add in the tax and delivery fee, that was $500 that I spent in the first month. And then, the subsequent ones, I just been going like every other week. And that's really, wonderful. I want to say
It's
back.
important. You have to pamper yourself. You have to take
Mhm.
care of yourself. You work hard. It's not all, you don't want to just be working, just to pay bills.
That's it. And in February, I did a really big thing, and I went to go see Jennifer Holliday in New York. I was
Ooh,
gone for 48 hours. That was it. And spent over 4 grand buying tickets,
wow.
to buy the plane ticket, and then to,
Hmm.
get the hotel room, buy the ticket to the show. And that was off Broadway, so it was a little ticket change because it
Oh,
came with
oh, yes, yes, yes.
um,
Cha-ching.
a four-course meal. So it was, I mean, just to jump on the plane on Wednesday, I call and I leave on Thursday. So it's being able those kind of things. When I say I really stepped it up,
But there is nothing better I can't think of a better thing or person or mission or ministry to invest in than yourself.
and it's true because if you're the well that everyone is drawing from, you need to find a way to come back and fill your well back up.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
So, what was the impetus for Mama? I was listening.
Mama, I was listening. Well, first of all, my mother, we called her Ma. My mother was very much the matriarch. Like, my mother was the only girl
Mhm.
of four brothers.
Oh wow. Hmm.
And yeah, and my mom, she and yeah, my mom had five children, and
And you are number what?
yeah, I have two sisters older than me. So
Who's the middle?
I have two brothers. I have three brothers. I have three brothers younger than me, one sister younger than me, and then two sisters older. So I guess am I the middle child? Like, yeah, I'm
You're in the
somewhere like
middle.
in yeah, I'm that middle child. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep. So my mother and my mother unfortunately, so my mother she grew up in an era where if you had a child or got pregnant, young, it was a big, taboo, and you got married out of wedlock, that was forbidden. And so my mother got pregnant a second time with, my mother had a daughter, and when she was 17, she had a daughter when she was 17, and then 2 years later she got pregnant again, And she was still, of course, she was no, she was 18. So when she was 18, she got pregnant again at 18, and she was still living at home with her mother. And generally at that age you are. And she had to drop out of high school, and her mother put her in a home for unwed mothers, because that's what happened at
Mm,
that time. And so she was put in a home for unwed mothers. And when she gave birth to her baby, she wanted to be able to bring the baby home, but her mother told her that she could keep the baby because she was put in there, because that's where you go and then you give your baby up for adoption.
right.
And, so my mother chose to have the baby, but her mother, wanted her to give the baby up for adoption. And, my mother kind of begged and pleaded. And, my grandmother told her, well, you can keep the baby, but you can't bring it home. I can't take, have another baby here. So
Right.
my mother kind of felt like she was forced to give her baby up for adoption. So she did. And with that, it, like, we always knew about it though. When growing up, even from a child, my mother would always say I had a baby that I had to give up for adoption. So she would always talk about it even when we were younger. So clearly that was something that hurt her and was near and dear to her heart and was close. She never forgot about that child that she had to give up for adoption. And so I think, so my mother took everybody in. She was that mother, like everybody was at our house at some point. I can't remember a time in my childhood where the only people living in the house was my mother's
Which is
kids.
you.
Like,
Right.
we are cousins, neighbors, friends who, they're didn't have the, good family situation. So I was always taking anybody in or bringing anybody home. Mom, she doesn't have anywhere to stay, so my mother took everybody in. And so when we called her Ma, that was endearing because she was Ma to everybody. She would talk on the phone all day. It was like she had a hotline to giving out advice and things like that. When my mom passed away 4 years ago, suddenly, so
Mm,
my mother passed away August 2018. It was suddenly, one day she was here and the next day she was gone. And, talking about that wisdom that gets passed down from generation to generation, because that's what the book is about. Mama, I Was Listening is about the wisdom, the love, the wisdom, the pain that also gets passed on,
mhm.
that part. And, so being a middle child, I don't know what it was, but I was very in tune with my mother. And I think, one of the things I picked up was her faith was very strong. And I think that's what got her through. But she took care of everybody and she always talked to everybody. And my mom used to always use parables. And in our home growing up, there were always things hanging on the wall, sayings hanging on the wall. So to this day, my house has words everywhere and plaques everywhere. And I remember in particular, my mom had a plaque that said, if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself, and my mom would, I'm sorry, Dr. Kimberly.
I said, wow.
Yeah. And my mother would always speak to us with like golden nuggets of wisdom. Like at the time, we didn't fully understand it, but whenever there was a teaching moment or something happened, whether it was something good happen or something not so good happen, if it was a teaching moment, my mother would always use parables like, well, Kimberly, the grass ain't always greener on the other side. I heard her, but I didn't fully understand until I grew up and lived life and experienced some of those, the grass ain't always greener on the other side, to fully understand what that meant. Or when she said everything that glitters isn't always
Oh,
gold,
that's
right?
it.
That
That
exactly. And
part.
so we hear it, but when you're growing up, when you're 15, 16, 17, you don't fully understand what that means because you haven't
Mhm.
really experienced that. But
Right.
I tell you, when you get to this side of life, you know exactly what that means. And in fact, you find yourself passing that wisdom on to your children, your grandchildren, or anybody will listen because it's true. Um, one monkey don't stop no show, all those things.
Girl,
Be
I would say
kind to
it might delay it for 15 minutes, but it's not gonna stop the show.
it. That's
So
right. That's right.
I had
You
to laugh
know,
because I started adding on little bits and pieces. you know,
That's right.
one monkey don't stop no show. And I was like, so you calling me a monkey, huh? And she would just do just like this, walk off. And it started to, click. I remember my grandmother would say, cleanliness is next to godliness. And then my mother would say, cleanliness is next to godliness. And so I thought that it was a scripture in the Bible. So
Mhm.
in Sunday school, girl, and they went around the room and you had to quote your scripture. And I said, cleanliness is next to godliness. Well, where you find it? From my grandmama, my mama.
Would you
Man,
say it was scripture in your house?
I got towed up. I said, well, y'all should have told me it wasn't in the Bible. I said, y'all made it seem like it was in the Bible. So I
Right,
just,
that's right. What you say in your house, Dr. Kimberly, it was scripture.
yep,
That's right. And so things like that, we you can't burn the candle at both ends. All these things I'm learning. It's better to have it and not need it than to
you can
need
need it
it.
and not have it.
And that's right.
Girl.
And if you in the entertainment business like that, you know exactly you learn those things. And I find myself passing those on to my son. So it wasn't until my mother used to always also say, nobody misses the water
Until the well run dry.
until the well runs dry. That's right. And so she was right, because it was not until my mother was actually gone that I think I valued her the most.
Yeah.
She was my mother. We don't expect it. We never had to be without our mother. We were birthed in our mother. They carried us. We came out of our mother. We had them all our lives, and we expect to have them all our lives. We can't imagine life without them because we never had to. And so when my mother was gone, I really started thinking about all the things that she actually was trying to teach me, and all the things that she would say, and all of those things that, parables that she would always, drop on us. It really started resonating with my life. Like I, sort of recalling on those things like they were scripture, and especially the one that nobody misses the water until the
Until
well runs dry. you know um I so that I didn't know what to do when she was gone. I literally felt like an orphan. And I was grown. My mother just passed 4 years ago, so I was very grown. You know what I mean? And I was blessed to have her, my mother, until I was in my 50s. But I just felt so alone. I did not know what to do with myself, my thoughts. It's like everything stopped for me. I stopped. I didn't want to do anything. And then at some point I got to the point where I couldn't even look at my mom's pictures without crying. I couldn't think of her without crying. I couldn't, I was just upset. I'm just like, why couldn't I have her longer? Why couldn't I see her before she went? Why couldn't I have one last conversation? Why couldn't it be to where I knew she was going so I could say anything, have like things that I wanted to say? I knew I had time to say them. And all of that, I went through so many levels of grief, and I even went to grief counseling. And one day I was at grief counseling, and I just could not get it together. I could not get it together. And I just walked into the room and sat down, and it was group counseling. We were in a group, and I just walked in the room and I sat down. And I'm usually the talker, as you can see, this is what we do. So I usually come in there and I'm expressing my feelings. I'm very expressive, and I'm working through. And this one day, I couldn't even speak. I just cried the entire time, to where I felt like I was being disruptive inside of a grief group. And the lady said, do you want to go somewhere quiet? You want to go somewhere alone? And I said, yes. And we went into a room, and she said, what is it that you're feeling today? Like, what is it you're feeling? And I said, I don't know what it is. I said, I thought, I had worked through this. I thought I was over it. I don't know why I can't shake it. I don't know why, my mother was blessed to live into her 80s, and, she didn't suffer, and she just passed in her sleep. And I don't know, I even feel guilty for, I'm here at grief counseling with children. There were kids in often other rooms and sections where they lost their mother, and they're only like 4 and 5 years old. Or, there was a kid in high school, and he had lost his mother. And, there was a family there. They had lost their child, their daughter, and she was young, like 10 or 11. The whole family was there. So when I got to group grief counseling, it was a wonderful thing in the way that it made me stop feeling sorry for myself. It made me stop giving myself a pity party and being angry that I lost my mom and I couldn't have her longer. And I really just started being so grateful that I had her for as long as I did. And when I got to that point, I was talking to the lady and I said, I don't know why I can't get it together. And I said, I don't know why I can't get over it. And she said, well, why are you trying? She said, grief is the price that you pay for loving somebody. We eventually will lose everybody. And if you love them, then you're going to grieve them. You're going to mourn them. You're going to miss them, but that love doesn't go anywhere. When I got to that point where I could just focus on my love and I could just walk in my love and my respect and my honor for my mother and start being grateful for everything that I learned and grateful for everything that she instilled in me. And even, she wasn't perfect. Like, none of us are. We're not perfect. So, the same woman that would say to me, Kimberly, you can do this, or, you don't have to rely on anybody. And God bless the child that got his own and, raised us to be women that were independent and be respectful. And, listen, you don't want to, once you mess up your reputation, it's gone. You can't get it back. A man can go out here and do whatever he wants and still be Mr. Jones. You go out here and do one thing and you're going to be, your reputation is going to be ruined and, things like that. And so the same woman that said all those things was also the same woman that said to me one day, you're cute now, but you was the ugliest baby I had. And those are things that her mother said to her. So sometimes even that pain, that pain is real. It gets passed on. Everybody does not know how to love.
True.
In a healthy way. And if you don't know how, you don't know how.
That's right.
The
time is now 4:32, and you are tuned into When Women Step Up. And our guest today is Kim, PossABLE. And scrolling down at the bottom is the information for tickets to her show. It is Mama, I Was Listening, and that's what we're talking about on today. And the show will be May 14th, 5 p.m. The doors open up. The numbers at the bottom, it's going to be at the Franthal Center, located in Muskegon, Michigan. It's also posted on the page. So you can go there and check out the flyer and get all of the information. Please get your ticket. You're not going to want to miss this. And today we are plugging Miss Shayna again out of Bel Air, Maryland, who has the wonderful, you guys see it, see the skin? Yes.
Yes, we see it glowing.
Yes, because of her body scrub. Mention my name, mention the show, anything concerning Dr. Kimberly, and you get 10% off a 32-ounce tub. Trust me, you're gonna want the 32-ounce. I said, I was trying to be nice. Well, I just kind of try a little bit, and I got the
you want to put that, you want to
ounce, and I got to going, and I was like, this ain't enough. I only got the top half of my body, and I was like, with the little container. And so, what I love about it that makes it different from other scrubs is that as it exfoliates, it has oil in it. So it's replenishing your skin, the nutrients, and you look, oh my gosh, wonderful when you come out the shower. And I have on no foundation, no makeup, nothing, just gloss and lashes. And actually the gloss, she made that as well. And so Shayna Thomas, she's on Facebook, SHANA is on Facebook, and you can direct message her.
I will be direct messaging Shayna.
We really have been appreciating you. I want to give a shout out to my auntie Elena, who is watching all the way in Detroit, and Auntie
Woo-hoo.
Barbara, who's watching down in Texas, and Auntie Thedosha, who watches out of Detroit as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in on today. I love you guys. Yes. Excuse me. So I think that when I listened to you, I heard so much of what my grandmother, my aunties, even the three ladies I just mentioned. Wow. I'm trying not to cry because I just remember them all sitting around the table in the dining room. And just to have that moment back again. Oh my gosh.
If they were
Oh,
sitting here, Dr. Kimberly, because that's what Mama I Was Listening is about. It's to honor those women, our mamas, our grandmothers, our aunties, and let them know that the things you said to me, the things you tried to pour into me, the things you instilled in me was not in vain. Those conversations was not in vain. I was listening. And I can now take that wisdom that you was giving me, and which I did not realize was wisdom at the time, and I am applying that to my life, and I am walking in your wisdom. And as long as we do that, they live on forever. It's like their wisdom, it was not in vain. And that's what Mama I Was Listening is about. This is where I put my grief. This is where I put my pain. This is where I put my sorrow. This is where I put my love. And this is how I honor, my mother, my grandmother, to say, I was listening. I was listening. And what better way for you, Dr. Kimberly, to honor those women? If those women were sitting here in front of you in your studio right now, what would you say to them to let them know that you were listening?
I would tell them thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because on the dark days, your words and your wisdom, it got me through. It's gotten me through 5 head surgeries, 2 bouts of cancer,
Mm.
and being in a wheelchair for the last 10 years. Um, yeah.
And that's strength.
It's
And
like
that's what it is. When we're able
I
to
just,
draw on those conversations, when we're able to look back on little things that they said that at the time didn't really resonate. But when we get, like you said, to um, situations and circumstances in our lives, in those dark times, in those lonely times where we feel so alone, that's in those moments is when we are able to draw on that strength. That's when we're able to recall those conversations, recall those words. And you're right. And that's what gets us through.
I just think about I'm still recovering. My voice is the last thing to come back. And I can remember my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, had the sugar, and her getting up in the morning, giving her insulin, eating right, and she would always sit and pray and walk around the house. That was, she couldn't walk far, but she would just kind of like walk around the house and pace herself. And, you know, she just gonna stretch out and have a little talk with God. Go stretch out, have a little talk with God.
I
Stretch out and
like
have a
that.
little talk with God. And I find myself in my wheelchair, just rolling around, having a little talk with God. Uh, I can remember my mother's mother will wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. She would just slide out ever so quietly and just get on the side of the bed and she would begin to pray. And I find myself drawn to that 5 a.m. hour. I was in 5 a.m. prayer when I had my stroke. And I thank
Wow.
God every day
Wow.
because I would have been dead. And I started not to go because I didn't
Wow.
feel good. And the Lord just said, you know what, just go
Just go.
and it'll be all right. And I could just hear both of my grandmothers just get up and go and have a little talk with Jesus and everything will be all right. And it was. It wasn't all right the way I thought that it would be all right.
That's right.
You
But it
know,
was all right. You're
but it
still
was all
here.
right because I would have been at home and I would have died.
That's right. And you're still here.
And I'm still here 10 years
So,
later.
all right. Yes. All right. God answering our prayers doesn't always look like what we think it should look like.
And I think the
But,
other one was he may not come when you want him, but it
but
be always be there.
always right on time.
And,
Always right on
and they said,
time.
because he's an all-time God.
He's an on
And I
time
was like,
God. That's right.
look, my
That's
lights
right.
about to get cut out. What you talking about? He on time. You know, my just this shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened. You know, they shouldn't be coming to cut my lights out. But God, and right at, that moment, here they come, you know, with little groceries, a little couple dollars. They didn't went down and paid the bill down there at the grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
just, and I think probably one of the things that they spoke the loudest about, but it was never in words, but it was in deed. And it definitely was getting clothes together for that unwed pregnant teen at the church, or cooking for a whole week, preparing food for the mother with 6 kids.
That's right.
You know,
Action speaks louder
sewing,
than words.
sewing outfits. I wear custom made clothes to this day because my grandmother started making my clothes when I was like 5.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I grew up. And them doing things like that for others, bringing clothes and darning socks because they couldn't afford to go get new ones, or just those are the things that they said to me without speaking that I truly hold near and dear to my heart. The things that they didn't say, but
The
what I
things they didn't say. Mm-hmm.
but what they said in their deeds towards
Mm-hmm.
others.
But they say, I can show you better than I can
But I
tell
could
you.
tell you,
Right? Exactly. And sometimes people don't have to say anything, but it's what they do. It's just sometimes their presence there when you're going through something,
and
you
so when
know?
you spoke to me on Saturday, this past Saturday, and you said, this is what's going to happen. And I immediately said, when I get on the road, this is
Nope.
what I'm going to do.
That's right.
And I did that.
Yes.
And I said, and then on Monday, we'll just finish it up. And I
That's
didn't,
right.
I didn't even have to do it on Monday. You actually came on through. And I was like, look at God. And
That's
so
right.
we
That's right.
finished
So
that
that
thing.
seed.
And so to me, that is, Mama, I was listening because this
Thank
is
you.
what you would have done. You would have seen, someone would have come to you with a need. And
Yes.
and I love it because everything is I used to say, y'all so sneaky. We just can't. And now I understand, everybody doesn't need to know
Mm-hmm.
what's happening, what's going on. Just know that it got done.
Yes, it
And
got
it was,
done. That's right. God
because
always has a ram in the bush. Is
girl,
that scripture? Now
them
that's
prophetic,
one
you
thing
gotta,
they used to say around my house. I don't know if it's in the Bible or not, but I tell you what, it's in my heart. It's etched in my mind, because every time things look impossible, God makes it possible.
he does. Let's see what it, oh, here we go. We got Juanita Campbell. She says, yes. She knew my grandmother. Anybody who knows my mother, Church of God in Christ, Mother Durham. And what I would love about her is that that woman could go to dialysis. And you're tired and
Yeah.
just all down after dialysis. That woman would come and shout up one end and down the other and pray you under the bench. I just love her.
I think I might have saw a picture, because I visited that church when I was in Muskegon this past weekend. So I actually went to Kingdom Embassy.
Well, she said, yes, ma'am. See, she know. She know. And so when people ask me, like, where do I get the tenacity from to do all that I do, from the wheelchair? Because this year makes my 10th year. I
Wow. Okay.
can't even believe it, that it'll be 10 years that I have been in this chair. And everyone will ask me, so if you could have one wish, or if you could just pray one prayer to God, I know it's going to be that you want to be out of that wheelchair. And I said, no, it's not. And everybody's like, what? And I said, I have lived my best life
From that chair.
from this chair. And
Wow.
every time I ask God to please heal me. Oh, Jesus, it's today. I asked that man, oh, from day one. Even when I couldn't talk, I was,
Uh-huh.
you know, and every time he would give me something to make this life more palatable.
Mm.
And so I could not have been more happy or excited, because I said, well, Lord, now I had to get rid of my Range Rover because I'm in this big motorized chair. And we couldn't figure out a way to revamp that to accommodate this.
Mm-hmm.
So they just said, let us think about it. Because, girl, I call Range Rover. Yeah.
That's right.
I was
Listen,
like,
can we work? We gotta work something now. We gotta figure this thing out.
y'all need to fix something. Can y'all just do something to my Rover? They just, they were considering doing a valet chair that would come out. I could push the button, the chair would come out of the car. I would swap, get into my wheelchair, and then it would put me back in the car. But then I had no place to put my wheelchair. So,
Mm-hmm.
And the weight of it would cause the car to tip.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, okay. But
That was just one of those things you just had to let go of.
and God was like, if I gave you that, I can give you something again and give you something even more better.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, you're right. And I was good. I really was with selling it, because I like the check that I got. I didn't, because the car was paid for. So it's not like I had to, go pay the bank off. So
Mm-hmm.
I got that whole check for the car. So
Mm-hmm.
that was exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But the piece for me that really kind of like hit me was Saturday. That I was like, okay, I was gonna pay somebody to come and get me. And they said, you know what? I can do you one better. And on the side of it, it said chauffeur services. They pulled up in this long, pretty vehicle. Come on. The driver came and knocked on the door, was dressed with dress pants and a dress top, had a bow tie on, and had a name tag, and said, I'm here to chauffeur you to Muskegon.
What? Wow.
And so I called my wheelchair. It's a Bentley. So, anybody that didn't see me in it, it's purple. And it's got
Mm-hmm.
my name on the back. It says Dr. Kimberly's Bentley. And
That's right.
and it's got the Bentley's, insignias all around it. And I drove my Bentley up into this chauffeur limo for people in wheelchairs, and it was fantastic.
That is amazing.
And I said, see, and I said, because I was getting ready to have a conversation with God about this wheelchair thing, and He sends me a chauffeur,
A chauffeur.
and I just was like, mm.
He said, I got you. I got you.
That's it. Going through with style and class, with grace, with a smile on my face. And I'm telling you, anytime that I even begin to think that I might be less than because I'm in the wheelchair, or you need to heal me out of the wheelchair, then He goes and does something so phenomenal as this. But we need to say hey to Miss Shirley. I think that don't let me get this wrong. Please don't let me Miss Kirby. I want to give a shout out. And I know Heidi. I know the name of the company. She trying to tell me. So we're gonna put it up there. It's called Freedom Transportation.
I love that.
And I love the name because it gave me freedom. It really did. It gave me freedom. So I think that's it's an awesome name to have. And I'm gonna shout out to Heidi because she was the one who made that connect for me and made that happen. So that's what happens when you're military and you're a veteran. I love our community. We have each other's.
Wow.
We do.
Have each other's backs.
We do.
Even now, still out here. That's great.
We do. Kim, what is in your deepest, darkest hour? What is something that your mother said to you that pulls you back? Even your grandmother.
My mother always said, the enemy can't beat me and my prayers too.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And that's it. And that's when I am at my darkest moments, and I have had some, and I still, have some, they're few and far between. But yeah, when I am in those moments, I prayer. There was nothing else, because that's what I call on it. My mother used to say, they can't beat me and my prayers. The enemy can't beat me and my prayers. And my mother was a praying woman. And so I am a praying woman. And I might fall down on my face, literally. And I have. And literally and figuratively. Fell on my face, my butt, and it scuffed up my knees, literally and figuratively.
Oh, yeah.
And in those, but I've lost things. I've lost money. I've lost people that I love. I've lost opportunities. I've lost relationships. I've lost friends. I've lost family members. But I will say that I never lose my faith. My faith is on fleek every day. I don't lose my faith. And I don't, because my mother always said, you can't beat me and my prayers.
I love it. What do you want the takeaway to be from May 14th?
I want the takeaway to be, the vision that God gave me for May 14th is more than just the book. The book is where I put my pain. The book is where I put my grief. The book is where I honored my mother. The book is where I put my love. The book is where I put all the things that I didn't have an opportunity to say before she left here. The book was my healing. So that was my healing, and it was my hope, life will go on, My mother will live on in me. But on May 14th at the Freudenthal Theater, Mama, I was listening the stage show. See, the book was about me.
Okay.
The stage show on May 14th is the book coming to life for you guys. It is the book is My Hope, My Healing. On May 14th, it's going to be healing in the building. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's going to be healing in the auditorium. The stage, the whole auditorium is going to resonate. It's going to vibrate with hope and healing. And what I want Muskegon to walk away with, or Michigan, anybody that comes to that show, to walk away with a renewed spirit, a spirit of hope and healing. What God told me was that, so I don't even know, I'm just being obedient, and I'm just the director, but God is the producer. He produced this show. And what he told me is going to happen, there's going to be some chains that's going to be broken. There's going to be some bondage that's going to be broken. There's going to be some things, some baggage that's going to be set down. There's going to be things that's going to be lifted off of people. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's going to be spirits of jealousy, spirits of envy, spirits of fear. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Spirits of grief and guilt and shame and all of those things. When you come in there, you can leave them right there. God said, I'm going to be here. And anybody with an open heart and an open mind, you are not going to be able to come. You are not going to be able to walk out of that place feeling different. Now, I don't know how you're going to feel later on down the week or later on 2 months from then, but you will not walk out of the Freudenthal Theater on May 14th without feeling a sense of hope and healing. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to be standing up applauding, and then you're going to be laughing, and 2 minutes later you're going to be crying. And he has brought some beautiful, beautiful talent, super talented people that I'm not from Muskegon, I'm from Pennsylvania, that I could have never found. And when I came here this weekend, God is just bringing the people. He's bringing the people. So the cast of this show, some really wonderful, talented people from Muskegon. We have Miss Melanie Knox that is going to MC and host the show. Oh my God, if you ain't never heard her pray, good Lord, you better watch out, be ready. We have Tiffany Jones and company that's going to be doing an integral dance to this beautiful song called A Mother's Love by Grammy nominated and a music artist from off of Empire Records, Major. It's capital MAJOR period. You don't know, you can go online. Major was known for this song that everybody wanted sang at their wedding. It's called Why I Love You. Well, Major wrote a song called A Mother's Love, and it's all about the same thing the book is about the wisdom. So that has become the official song for this book tour. And they're going to dance to this song. Major did a special tribute to everybody that's there in the room. So you're in for a special treat. I'm going to be on stage, performing some excerpts from my book. We have William Kitchen, who's doing a powerful poem. He is a very, very talented motivational speaker and just an all-around amazing young man who has a testimony, and he's going to be doing spoken word. We have a young lady, One Single Rose, is coming up from Detroit to bless us. She's going to sing and do spoken word. Oh my gosh, there's the choir. First of all, the show, we have the Onika Curry, which is the head of she's the lead of the praise and worship team for Kingdom Embassy Covenant Church, and their praise and worship team is coming, and they're going to be performing. They're going to be opening the show. They're going to be closing the show. They're going to be singing in the middle, and oh my God, the songs! I'm just like I'm envious that I can't just sit in the audience as a guest, that I can't just buy a ticket to the show and sit in the audience as a guest. And if you look in the back of
so we want you to know the tickets are $40, and you can get them through eTix. It's ETIX, and the number, everything is scrolling down at the bottom, and the flyer is already posted on all my pages, and you can see it. And please get your tickets. And for groups 10 or more, you get a discount, right?
Yes,
So,
20% on any group of 10 or more, because I want you to be able to, nobody wants to come to something alone. So bring your church, bring your neighbors, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your sorority sisters, bring your book club, bring your aunties, bring your mama, your grandmama, you know what I mean? And a lot of people think that this is just a Mother's Day show. And a lot of men think, oh, this is just a woman show. It is not. We have some powerful men that are going to be in their cast of the show. And they're going to be, we have some men singing, we have some men doing spoken word, and we also have some special interviews. There's a lot of men that I interviewed that talked about the wisdom that their mothers poured into them as men and how they apply that to their life. And the men's interviews were very powerful. And those interviews are going to show at the show that night in between each act. Um, we have, like I said, we have 2 choirs that's coming from different churches in the area that's going to be blessing us with song and praise and worship. And it's just going to be an amazing show. But yes, you can go down to the box office at the Frauenthal Theater. You can and purchase your tickets in person. You can call the number that's on the screen and call the box office and purchase your tickets through eTix. Or you can go onto the website, Frauenthal.org, and you click on tickets and purchase your tickets through there. The tickets are $40 for the general admission for the floor. There's no bad seat in the house. It's a beautiful, beautiful historic theater, and I'm honored to even be able to bring this show to Muskegon for Mother's Day and perform, and do this show and bring the book to life so that everybody can, it'll be all of our testimonies. You know what I mean? And I'm just really looking forward to it. Like I said, I want to be able to watch the show. My son said to me, Mom, do I have to videotape? Because he works, part of my production team. He normally is one of the videographers. And he said to me, Mom, on that night, because he sees, me for practicing and stuff, he said, I don't want to have to be stuck videotaping the whole show. I want to watch the show. My son has never cared about, he's 19. He's 19-year-old teenager. He's never cared about watching my shows, the content. He'll videotape, he'll tell somebody in a minute, I'm just helping out my mom. But for that night, my son, I was practicing a poem that I wrote it was written for the book, and it was my closing dedication. And it was a love letter I wrote to my mother. And I was reading it, and some people in my family was like, oh my God, that's amazing. You have to perform that in the show. I said, well, I didn't write this to perform. This is just a dedication. They're like, oh, no. You have to read that to people. So my son, I was practicing it, and I'm like, well, I'm nervous to get up there and read it. And my son, I was practicing to my son. And when I was done, my 19-year-old son got up. I was crying. He was crying. I could barely get through it. And he came over and he hugged me and he said, Mom, I am so proud of you. And he said, I just want to sit there that night and just watch the show. But anyone that comes, you're in for a treat. And there is a special VIP party that starts at 5. It's from 5 to 6:30. And it's a VIP party. And those tickets are $75. But it's also going to be catered. The VIP party is the pre-party to the show. And it's going to be catered by Soulfield Catering, and I heard her food is absolutely delicious. Yes. And so it's going to be catered by Soulfield.
Will there be books available?
There will be books available. There absolutely will books available, and possibly some other merchandise that I'm not going to tell you about that will be available. I will be signing books.
How much are the books?
The book is $21.50. Okay. The book is $21.50. The tickets are VIP $75, $40 for regular general admission. However, if you get your ticket by midnight on April 30th, it's 20% off. And that's including the VIP, which is almost up to, I think, like maybe $10 off your ticket. So 20% off your VIP ticket up until midnight, April 30th, or 20% off your general admission ticket up until April 30th at midnight. So if you know you're going to go or you're thinking about going, go ahead and get your ticket now while you get that 20% discount. Tickets are starting to go, and I'm thankful. But I know our people, we wait till last minute. Nobody's buying tickets. 4 weeks in advance, 3 weeks in advance. But now it's May 14th. It's around the corner. Go get your ticket. You will not be sorry. Bring your family.
It's all in me. Come on, baby. Do it
And
naturally.
naturally.
Uh-oh. Hit a little bit early. Hit a little bit early, but we want to say thank you so much for,
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
for being on here today. And no, we don't own the rights, but I'm sure Chaka don't mind. I'm sure
Shaka don't mind. Shaka don't mind.
Chaka don't mind. Chaka don't mind. You know, we bringing it all the way back. So we want to say thank you to Kim, who makes all things possible. Yes, for us to be able to come and be and enjoy. I cannot wait. Girl, I'm gonna have my little lap scarf so I can be doing like this and be cute about it.
And there's going to be an after party too.
Whoa. But anyway, we want to say thank you so much. And
Thank
we will
you.
see
Thank you,
you
Dr. Kimberly.
on next week. Y'all ready? Come on.
Like
Hey.
rain onto the seas. I can make a rhyme. No confusion in your mind. And when it comes down to some good old-fashioned love, that's what I want. It's all in me. Anything you want done, baby, do it naturally. It's all in me. I can reach your thoughts right now. Everyone prepared to say,